Hello everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. We're going to do a live stream impromptu today, mainly because we haven't got a full video for this week. So this is going to be the video for this week. So this live Q&A is probably going to stay public on YouTube. Hello to anyone who's watching on Twitch. Normally when I'm doing live streams, I'm going to set them to unlisted and put them in a little playlist. So if you want to watch live streams that we've done previously, you can, but you won't be able to search for them or find them publicly. This will be an exception to that because it's going to be this week's video. So if you have any questions for us, obviously I did a good Q&A last week or the week before, so I answered some questions. If you have any questions for Joe, because obviously he wasn't there, by all means ask them. We're wearing gloves and we're indoors because it's really,
fucking
really
freezing
cold
today. It is yet to snow, but we are currently sat in Lenny's practice room, and it is piss freezing, is it not?
It is indeed. So we've had some questions through already. So who inspired you guys to do music? The Beatles? Green Day? I think the Beatles is like the most common influence that most people will cite.
Yeah.
And I have zero influence from the Beatles.
No, I don't.
At all.
I first started getting an interest in playing when, like, my dad used to play, like... He used to play, like, Arctic Monkeys, Chili Peppers, and, like, fucking Slayer in the car to me. And I was like, this is mint. I want to play this shit. This is when I was, like, 7 before I ever, like, took up learning anything. But that was like at a really early age. I didn't actually start learning instruments until I was about 13, and at that point I think it was just for the hell of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hello from Denmark. I fucking love Denmark. I'd love to go to Denmark. Sorry.
You guys probably don't know this, but Joe spends a lot of his time on Google Maps,
Yeah.
just searching the world. So.
Do we like Oasis and Kasabian? I like some Oasis songs, and I like a lot of Kasabian songs. I don't think I would say I wouldn't say I'm an Oasis fan. I probably wouldn't go see them if they were somehow back. But I think I'd probably go see Kasabian. Would you?
I think I'd go and see any band. I think. Just for the experience of seeing that. Unless it was a band that I particularly hated, I would be open to probably going and seeing any band. Kasabian is probably one of those. There isn't really any songs that I love from Kasabian. But then again, I don't actually hate any of them.
For me, Kasabian's really good for, like, not casual listening, but just like when you're driving about, it's like just like good to put Kasabian on. It's like, yeah, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Who's your favourite drummer right now? Odd question.
That is a really odd question. I don't really know.
I've always been a fan of drummers that do something just a little bit different, that don't just do normal stuff. So
How do you mean?
whether that's blending something from a different genre in, like putting double kick in songs that really shouldn't have double kick,
I'll tell you
or something like that.
I have actually I watched Birdman for the first time the other day, and it has a soundtrack that is almost completely jazz drumming. I forgot the guy's name who does it, but I've been listening to that over and over because it's just like really offbeat jazzy drumming. It's really cool.
To name actual drummers themselves that I kind of dig, Travis Barker has always been really good in my opinion for being creative. And to go the exact other side of the spectrum, whoever did drums for the Sex Bomb stuff for Scott Pilgrim, I really like, because it's totally like it embraces DIY drumming without being shit. Even though I guess it's kind of, it's like shit technique that's been displayed.
Yeah.
But it's good. I like it. I hope you guys have a good Christmas. I hope you have a good Christmas too, Ethan. Favourite festival? You've been to more than I have.
My favourite festival is the festival that I've been to in South Korea for the past 2 years. I haven't actually been to that many festivals. I've never been to like Glastonbury or anything. I've been to Leeds Festival once. I've been to Download Festival once, which is a little bit embarrassing to say that I both play in a band and work in the music industry, but hey ho. The festival that I've been to in Korea is called Zandari, and it is fucking awesome because there's just everyone in the world there. Well, not everyone in the world. Everyone from like everywhere in the world just there, like bands from all over just playing music, and it's just fucking awesome.
When we were filming a video, if you follow me on Instagram you'll know this, we were filming a video with Autumn the other day, and she said Zandari properly. Can you say it properly?
Jandari is how you're supposed to say it.
Nice. I like that. That's nice. With bands having to use social media more, how can bands keep a mystique like Radiohead or Brand New and still gain traction? Have something worked into what it is that you're posting on social media that allows you to keep a mystique up. So
What is a mystique? I think I'm missing out on something here.
I don't know. I think almost like
I thought Mystique was the girl from X-Men.
I think you might be right,
Mm.
but the best thing I could relate it to is what I did when we did band loading. So for a year, I ran social media for my band without saying what the band was, without saying what music it was, without saying who was in it. I guess that kind of thing of taking. You can be kind of mysterious about anything on social media just by making sure the thing that you're posting adds to that mystery. You can't have that kind of thing and then post on your Instagram being like, we're at the pub. You have to really think about what it is that you're going to present as a band and then almost work it backwards. What do we want people to think about us? And then how do you post things to make sure that that is actually what people will think
Yeah,
about?
because you always have to consider how you want to be perceived, because how you are perceived is usually not how you want to be perceived. Like, you can dress in a certain way, you can play certain music, but people are always going to have a different idea about what your band is, so you have to make sure that you cater your appearance and presentation to those people.
Yes. What's the best distortion pedal to use from a clean channel, if that makes sense?
Fucking Russian Big Muff.
I mean, both Joe and I both use Russian Big Muff. I don't know if mine is
Mine's
Russian.
not. I used to
Mine's
have a
just
Russian
a Big
one,
Muff.
but it's just fucking mint. It
They-
sounds awesome.
Yeah, they also do Big Muffs that are the tiny little...
The nano muffs, didn't call them.
Yeah,
don't they?
which sound almost identical as well. So they do cheaper versions than just the Big Muff itself. I think, for me, it's the best sound I've ever got out of a distortion. But it's a fuzz pedal. It's not actually a distortion. But in my opinion, it sounds amazing. But
And you can pretty much use it for everything as well. Like, you can use it for indie, and you could even use it for metal. Like, we've got some fucking metal sounds out of it before.
yeah, it's really diverse, but also has a very, very nice sound to it. I'm trying to not miss any questions.
What
Do
are we
you
doing?
like Oasis?
I like 4 Oasis songs.
I like 0 Oasis songs. Okay, why? Why don't you like Oasis? Or why do you like 4 songs from Oasis but not the rest of them?
I think it's because it's all very similar. Like, it's all very... Maybe I have, like, a tainted opinion of it because it's, like... It's not laddie, but it's something that's on in Leadmill and, like, clubs we go to, like, all the time, and it's just, like, something else now, please. I still like the song they sang when Manchester was bombed. There was the song, Don't Look Back in Anger. I think that is a very good song. I think that will always be a very good song. I don't like Wonderwall because it's just, like, a bit shit.
You're my Wonderwall.
Because you've got, like, dickheads like him who, like, sit at festivals, like, next to fires and next to tents with an acoustic guitar just singing it, and it's just like... It's
You
getting
love
creepy. Okay, so...
Also, would you be able to do a video on PAing up a bad practice? Band
practice.
No, that says bad practice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We don't do a video on PAing up a bad practice. My band is struggling with it. Right, okay, so getting a live mix while you're practicing. Yeah, I have trouble with that. Like, whenever I've got, like, PA systems or something in a practice room, it's always really hard to get the fucking right volume, and it always feedbacks, and it always goes mental.
That's, in my opinion, the big advantage of us having this practice studio.
It's your PA.
Yeah, and we set it up, and once it's set up, that's it, it's done, it's ready. Like, our mixes in this room are fine and perfect, but I understand if you're going to a practice room every week and then coming home and then going next week, and obviously people have been in it and messed around with stuff. The biggest thing for me would be to do like what you would do in a studio engineering, and that is do instrument by instrument. Have the drummer play and just loop something, then bring the bass in, get the volume right on that. Get someone who's not the bassist to do the bass volume, so the bassist can play, get the bass volume right, get the guitar volumes right, and then get the vocals right. Problem is with vocals is that in a small room, the mics will feedback like mad, so there's a very high chance that you'll have to have the vocals quieter than you would want. There is no solution to that. It's just the fact that it's a small room and the mics are facing the speakers in a lot of situations.
Why do people nowadays listen with their eye and not their eyes? I'm going to assume you mean ears. It's because people like to... I don't know, I don't think it's right to generalise everybody like that. Like, a lot of people still listen to music for the quality of music, but there is an abundance of people who are into, like, the standard pop shit with the music videos with half-naked girls and just... I think that's always going to be a problem.
Yes, although, and we did make a video on this the other week, I think because of streaming taking off as well as streaming has taken off, people are less into music videos now than they were.
I was
so I
talking
think
about
that's
this,
probably a good thing. I think there is actually more people just listening to music because of streaming websites. So as much as streaming is not necessarily killing the music industry, but it's hurting it because of the little amount of money that artists are getting because of streaming, it's probably on the whole been a good thing for the music industry.
Because it's making people think about the music as opposed to the artist now.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it is very nice.
It's 2,500. Oh god.
Sorry?
It's $2.50372 for a music studio, with both doors, mics, synths, monitors, and acoustic panels. Overpriced if I only make music on a computer and don't use instruments.
Okay, I don't know which part of that is actually the question, but to price up a studio at that price is... Yeah, you could pay that much for a music studio, but if you aren't setting up a studio to run it as a business, there's certain things that you don't have to do. So, like acoustic panels, for example, you don't have to make the entirety of the room that you're in perfectly acoustically sound. You can get around it by, when you record certain things, just creating a great environment for recording that thing for the half an hour that you're recording it. Like covering 2 walls with duvets. Do they have duvets in America, or is that called something
I
different?
think they call them sheets, don't they?
Okay, with your sheets, bed sheets. Cover 2 walls with that and then record the mic there because you won't get the bounce. That'll save you some money. There's certain things that you don't necessarily need, like a really, really high-end computer. Really.
Also, I think it's important to mention, when you see like a big studio and it's got a big mixing desk with like all the faders and stuff on it, you don't actually need that, do you?
No, when we went to college and studied this, the first thing that we were like kind of taught was, look how cool this desk is, and he pressed a button and it did all these things, and it's like, that is just a glorified mouse.
Yeah, you can do everything on there using your mouse on the screen in the door already.
Yes, so you might pay like a few £1,000s for a really cool looking mixing board, but if you're using a digital DAW, it doesn't actually do anything. You don't have benefit other than it's easier to control than it would be a mouse. What audio interface do you use? If you search on our channel for the playlist Bedroom Recording, the first video in that goes through all the equipment that I use, and I believe I still use all of that equipment in that video now. How do you write a good song? Write 50 bad songs, and then eventually you will just write good songs.
We missed these ones.
Sorry, we'll get to the other questions. I believe it was Ed Sheeran that said this. You've got to think of creating things like a tap. So the idea is that you turn the tap on and it's going to pull out sludge and be shitty and whatever. And if you just turn the tap off, you aren't solving the problem. Like, you've got to run the tap, let all of the shit come through, and then eventually the water will become clean. I guess this is kind of a story from back in the day when taps had shit come through and you had to wait for them to become clean. But it works. It's the idea of constantly create stuff, make stuff and make stuff and make stuff and make stuff, and eventually you will get better and better and better to the point that you will get to the point that you want to be at. But just being like, I've written 10 songs and they're all shit, and then stopping.
There isn't really a formula as to how to write good songs. It just comes with practice and writing shit songs. How many shit songs have you written?
Me, personally?
Yes.
I would say between 100 and 200. I can't put an exact number on it. And
I have written far less shit songs.
Probably, but I'd say that I probably write more.
You do write more, yeah.
Like, a band, we will write like 2 songs per practice and then drop most of them.
Yeah.
Okay, read out a question that we missed.
What is your favourite reverb and delay?
I have only ever used one reverb that's not a built-in reverb, and it's sat over there, and it's called the Hall of Fame reverb. It's actually really good because I've not done it yet, but there is an app that you can get. I'll show it you if you don't know what phone is.
Not really experts on reverb.
No. If you listen to his band, you can tell why. Like, that's not a band that would use reverb necessarily.
Me and my friend recently started a band. He's a drummer and a pianist and the vocalist. I'm learning guitar as well. Do you think we could make it as a band, or should we find more members? I would recommend you find a bass player. Because you have a drummer who's going to keep the rhythm. You have you who's going to do the, I suppose, the melodies and the vocals. You need the bass to kind of fill the gap between. A lot of bands have made it without a bassist, like Slaves, but I would still argue that Slaves would benefit from having a bassist.
And Slaves sometimes use bass.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So, if I had to say that what one member would you benefit from having, a bassist definitely would.
Because if you've got a drummer, a bassist, and then you who does both piano, guitar, and vocals, that's a band. That works.
Yeah. That you could add as many members or take away as many members as you want, but bass would probably be the biggest thing that you would benefit from. I think live especially you will benefit from more members. Writing, you can layer, so you don't really have that problem. Like, you could play a low part on a keyboard or piano and then a higher part, that's fine. But you can't do that live. That's really where you're going to be hindered by not having a bassist.
Have you heard Ode to Sleep by 21 Pilots? If so, do you like how they combine so many things into one song? Because I love it. I have not.
I believe Ode to Sleep is the song where, and he's actually quoted saying this, they didn't understand really tempo and that kind of stuff. So like halfway through the song, the tempo just completely changes and it turns into a different song. So I guess what you mean by how they combine so many things into one song, it is just talking about how they essentially crammed two different songs into one song, which is really what they did. I think key changes and tempo changes at the same time, as if it's going into a totally different thing. My opinion of that is that, as an average listener, as your average Joe or whatever, that's fine. No one's really going to care if it sounds good. But as someone who knows about music, it sounds lazy. It sounds like someone's just winging it and just seeing what happens, rather than thinking about how they're actually making the music and thinking this tempo change sounds odd, which I think it probably does. I don't know.
I think maybe if you didn't know that and you think that they did it intentionally, I can see why you think it is really good.
Which would be fine, but he's actually quoted saying that he didn't know what he was doing at the time, and that was just how they wrote music. So, message retracted. That's the thing you can do now. You can like delete a thing.
I think that was it. Said, yeah, it was. I've said banned.
Right. Okay, it was correcting yourself. That's fine.
What about building a DIY vocal booth?
Yeah, what I said with putting duvets up, 2 duvets on a wall, and then get a mic and put it kind of in the corner. Not necessarily right in the corner, but just so that the duvets are still kind of in line with it. So then when you sing into the mic, there is no bounce from the walls because the duvets will then absorb the sounds.
This can also work with, like, if you have like a coat cupboard under your stairs and it's got like loads of fabric and stuff in it. That can also work really well because they're usually quite an odd shape. Like, the room is usually like, it's got the stairs that go like that and then the wall and then the coat hanging. This is just my coat room, basically. Yeah. But if you have a room like that, you can use that as well.
Yeah. Really, with recording anything, the best thing to do is go to a room that is either got lots of soft stuff in it, or isn't square, or doesn't have parallel walls.
Unless you want to get some natural reverb.
Yes. Cars are actually really good.
Really?
Yes, because there are no reflective surfaces in cars because none of the things see each other. So, if it's not great for vocal because you'll be sat down, but if you were recording something like a podcast, the best sound quality that you can probably get without a proper vocal booth is a car.
Can you name 3 Danish bands and musicians that are world famous? I can't.
I can't name one.
Sure I could, once upon a time.
I'm going to sound really ignorant if this is wrong, but you know the guy that kind of went viral a few months ago that can sing really high, the bald guy?
I think he was Russian.
He's
not Danish, I don't think.
No, I don't know any Danish bands. I apologise. By all means, don't do it in this chat, because if you do it in this chat, it gets deleted as soon as we stop streaming. But if you want to send us an email with some Danish bands, I'd be happy to check them out.
Yeah,
can you have a pianist in a rock band?
Yes.
Yeah, of course you can. This is the same with anything. Don't just play a normal piano part in a rock song. write for the song. What does the song need? What does it feel like it needs? Don't just do the...
You can't just play the same chords that the guitarist is playing, because that is just going to sound a bit shit.
Yeah, or do the do 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 do. Don't just do that for every single song, because really a guitarist shouldn't be doing the same shit for every single song, and a bassist shouldn't be doing the same shit for every single song.
There's
So
a lot of
don't do
bands that
with
have
piano.
used the piano really well. Like, you know, like your kind of, not opera rock, but kind of like ballady rock bands. That works really well.
Yes. If you're not doing that, maybe consider also doubling your part as a keyboard part as well, so that you can swap between keyboard and piano where it makes sense, so that in certain songs where piano will not work and actually sounds worse because you've got piano in it, you can swap to a keyboard part that's maybe lower in the mix and maybe just like a pad or something like that.
What is your favourite guitar strings?
I've only ever used one company for guitar strings, and that's Ernie Ball. I do want to try some other companies because I've heard some reviews of some other companies, and they're apparently way nicer feeling when you play. I am yet to try any other companies, so I can't really comment. Again, it's the same as reverb pedals. I think the ones that I'm using are good, but I've not used any others, so I don't know.
Is a management course in music essential to get a job in music industry? No, not even slightly. In fact, from our personal experience, people who have learnt the music industry from textbooks and uni generally don't have as good a grasp on it as people who have actually worked in the music industry. Like me and Lenny, we went from college straight to working for a record label, so it was like, we didn't really learn any of it from like textbooks or from lectures or anything. We learned it by doing it. And I would say that we're probably better off because of it.
Yeah, but we have also had education in both music technology and music business through college and then an apprenticeship. However, we could have learned all the things that we have learned from like a few weeks working, probably. The things that we still use now on a day-to-day basis, we could have learned those things pretty quickly rather than an entire year at college.
I don't know, I think a lot of it was trial and error.
Oh yeah, maybe so, that's true. What do you two do for a job? Good question. The easiest thing to say is we work at a record label, but there's a bit more to it than that. Joe's technical job role is product manager. I thought you were getting like a business card out to show everyone.
No, I just want some Galaxy.
Getting chocolate. I just want to make sure that everything's fine quality-wise before I properly answer this question.
Cookie crumble.
Also, I've noticed that we've got the top bars up there. Don't seem to be working today. Don't know. So Joe's job role is product manager plus A&R representative. A&R representative is just generic.
I work with bands.
Record label worker, essentially. Yeah, it's the liaison between record label and bands. Product manager is, well, let you say it because it's your job.
Oh, fucking hell! All right, I distribute music from artists. I publish it, so I sign it up to PRS. I claim all the royalties. I send it for sync. I get bands and I help them get slots at festivals. I help them apply for money, for funding. I help them release their stuff, so I kind of take over the social media and do a social media campaign. I also do a little bit of PR, so I send some stuff to blogs and radio and to get like reviews and stuff. And today, what are we doing today?
We are doing some filming today. So you're technically also a assistant for me.
Yeah. Your state of the music industry.
Well, I haven't answered the question yet.
Alright, go on then.
My job role is... Actually, I believe you came up with it. It's kind of twatty.
It is so pretentious, and that's why I came up with it.
Mine is A&R representative, same as Joe's, and multimedia specialist. Which
basically just means he makes videos and graphics.
Yeah, I do asset creation, essentially. So if there's anything that an artist needs, whether that is artwork or logos or a website or videos or any of that kind of stuff, just physical, digital assets, I make those things. We are also doing a lot of work on this new thing that we're not telling you about, which also then advances our job roles a little bit more. But nothing on that until we've done it.
Your state of the music industry in 3 words.
Fucked.
I think
shit.
We say this pretty much every day, don't we?
Yeah.
Everybody is shit. And I don't know if it's just us.
That's not even the state of the music industry in terms of sales and performing and the artists. We just mean behind the scenes. Like, all the people that you work with are just shit at their job. Really bad. Everyone. So, I believe we did a video on this a long time ago, and that was always prepare...
To be let down.
Yeah, prepare everything that you do as an artist with the idea that whoever you're working with will not follow through on the job that they're supposed to do.
And then you're going to have to do it yourself.
Yes.
Which is what we do all the time.
Yes, because...
Everyone's just a fucking idiot. Everyone is just shit.
Yeah. How do you get your music onto Spotify and iTunes? There are a few ways of doing that. It's called music distribution if you want to Google it. The thing that I mentioned earlier about me and Joe working on a new project might or might not have something to do with that. Maybe. We're not telling you. How do you know the drummer... How do you know...
There's no how. Did you know that the drummer from Metallica is Danish?
I do now.
I always thought it was German. But I suppose Denmark and Germany, they have some similarities, I think.
Yeah.
Hello, Ash Gray.
Thank you for turning up. What time are we finishing this?
Well, we're supposed to be
It's
at
currently 3.
BBC at 3:30, so we'll do another 15 minutes, shall we say?
Yeah, we'll do another 15 minutes.
Okay.
So if anyone's got any questions, you've got us for another 15 minutes. I know I ask this every single time, but it's because I am still really conscious about what everything's like. Is the quality okay, and is the audio okay? I'm using the built-in mic from the laptop rather than a proper mic, so I hope everything's been fine. I know I've been going for like half an hour now, so hopefully it's fine. I just want to ask you, is it fine?
What is your opinion on Against Me?
Is that an artist? Is that a band?
I don't know. Can we listen to them?
We could now, but the video will get flagged by YouTube. So,
The
as and when we do this kind of thing on Twitch, we will do it.
video quality is kind of shit.
Well, at least you've told us, and I know.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't fix it, but hopefully I'll get that sorted at some point. I'll be able to watch this back later on and see what.
Apparently,
the problem was.
Against Me are a band.
Okay.
Well, we will listen, and we will let you know what our opinion of them
Yes.
is.
Oh, while you're here, I say you as in all you guys. What's our Twitch? It should be linked in the description. If it's not, the Twitch name is The Music Lab Live, all one word. I believe we've commented on the Sherlocks before. The comment is, what do you think of the Sherlocks? For me, the Sherlocks are shit indie. I'm not a fan of indie in almost every capacity, so yeah, I'm not a fan of Sherlock's, but I was never going to be, same as I'm not a fan of Caption the Bottleman or...
I am a fan of some indie, and I think that Sherlock's are a bit of a rehash of everything that's come out in the past, 10 years. Like Cortinas and stuff, they are just them, really.
Oh, this is what I was going to say. We had an idea because YouTube is really not great with copyrighted content. Obviously, we don't need to go into that, but Twitch is a little bit better, and if we use Twitch just live and not store the video, so we say we do a live stream, and you won't be able to watch the live stream after it's happened, it's just live, we could do a radio show, for lack of a better name, and we could do requests, so you guys could request songs, and in theory songs that we've never heard of, like the band Against Me that we've not heard of. You could request stuff, and we could then listen to it. We'd all listen to it on the live stream live, and then we could do a bit of a radio show talking about stuff. Would you be interested in said thing? Let us know in the description, because I think that'd be kind of a cool idea, but if no one's interested, then we'll not do it because there's no point.
What about Cortinas? I saw the Cortinas at Leeds Festival 2016, I think, and at the time I was carrying a girl up a muddy hill and didn't really have time to listen to them, but they sounded good.
Okay, cool. I've not heard Cortinas enough to comment. What happens in pre-production? Really, pre-production is just a fancy name for the demoing stage, although when you get to a higher level, pre-production actually requires you to go into a studio with the producer, and you essentially play the songs for the producer, and then he will work with you on making the songs better, and then you might do some recordings, which would essentially be demos, or you might not, and it's essentially the writing and demoing stage but it's given a name and is made a little bit more formal. It's just the bit that happens before you.
It's
start
like the
proper
final
production.
check before recording, isn't it? To make sure that these songs are good.
Yeah, even just stuff like working out what the BPM is of the song technically falls under pre-production because it's stuff that you need.
It's
to
kind
go
of
into
like
the studio.
when you're listening to your song and it's like, oh, we don't really need that chorus on the end, or maybe we should have a longer verse, or things like that. It's just like little tweaks that you make before you record something.
Do you know the band the Hollywood Undead? You should read all these out. I'm going to a concert in Copenhagen, and Hollywood Undead is playing. P.S. They are from the US.
Yes, I do know the Hollywood Undead. I haven't listened to them in a very, very long time. I first heard them about 7 years ago, I think.
Have they got a female singer? Or am I thinking of the wrong
I don't
band?
think they have a female singer. They're like a weird rap group.
Oh, right. In which case, I've definitely not heard them.
Mm.
Are you into emo? It depends on what you mean by emo. If it's stuff like My Chemical Romance or stuff that's a little bit whiny and screamy, no, not really. But bands like Brand New and Modern Baseball, you could argue some of their songs are emo. Yes. Stuff that's maybe just like pop punk but without the cheese, then yeah.
No. Could you one day do a video on preparing for recording?
Yeah, so pre-production, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we should
I don't know
talk
exactly how we would talk about it.
Well,
but yeah.
we could write a song and then take it through. Like, we could demo a fake song and take it through a
Pre-production
fake
stage.
pre-production stage.
Yeah, we'll think about it and yeah. Do you recommend any microphone for screaming on a budget?
Screaming on a budget sounds like it could be like a really cool mockumentary.
SM58 is kind of like the mic that will do you if you don't know what mic you want. Basically, an SM58 will record pretty much anything and will do it well.
It's robust too.
And yeah, you can throw it at a car and the car will be more damaged than the SM58 is.
It's like the Nokia of mics, isn't it?
Yeah, it's made by a company called Shure, Shure, I believe. Most music industry people use that mic in some capacity.
Do you not find bands like Blink-182 proper cheesy? Yes.
Yeah, and that is coming from two people who 5-6 years ago loved Blink-182. I think I didn't get it at the time, obviously, but I thought when people said, "Oh, it's like a band for teenagers,"
Yeah.
and I was like, I didn't get it. It was like, no, they're great. And then like as I've come out of that phase, it's like, yeah, it's a band for teenagers. It's like I get why as a teenager you would love Blink-182, but as you gradually get into different types of music and stuff, it becomes overly obvious how cheesy Blink-182 is. And that's the same with other bands in that genre. Almost that genre specifically, unless you count pop itself. What about I Miss You? That's not cheesy. Yeah, but Tom DeLonge's accent is so shit that...
I don't think the song itself is cheesy. I think the album that I Miss You is from, which was the self-titled album, is probably the one that I would be most likely to listen to now if I were to get back into them.
Same.
Because it's the most mature.
Yes. Yeah. For me, like, I Miss You is maybe not cheesy, but I think it's, for me, hard to listen to because I find his accent just...
For me, it's hard to listen to because I used to listen to it all the time, and I used to be like, yeah, this is really good, and it's like, nah.
Yeah. His accent, when he sings, he doesn't talk like it, so it's definitely, he does it just for singing. It sounds like someone taking the piss, and I just can't get past that now. What guitars would you recommend for a fairly new musician with very little money? Epiphone makes some really good cheap stuff.
As the Squire.
Squire, made by Fender, do some really good cheap stuff. Avoid nameless brands because you might end up actually paying a little bit more money than the guitar is actually worth, even though they're quite cheap because they are just shit. So if you put anywhere from like £150 to £200 or convert that into dollars, you'll probably get a really good guitar.
The bass that I use now is a Squire. It's like a short scale Squire, and it's good. Like,
Yeah, so
I don't need to change it.
Anything under like £100 or $100, because they're pretty much worth the same now, you're not really gonna get anything great out of. So you're best off saving for a little bit longer if you've not got the money, rather than just committing to a guitar that's maybe a bit super shit, if you like.
Do we have any more?
You're better at reading than I am.
Oh yeah, Hollywood Undead is a rock/hip hop band. They had 5 members now and 3 ex-members. Their newest ex-member is Da Curls. I really don't know anything about Hollywood Undead.
I only got half of that because I don't know. Is that saying that I should know who Da Curls is? I don't know. Cool. Maybe we'll listen to Hollywood Undead at some point in said radio show where we do requests.
Why is the same generic R&B music massive like Drake and people like that? It's awful. Yes, it fucking is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, although I would argue that at all points in time throughout history, there has always been a type of music that's sat at the top of the charts that's been super shit. Like, that's always been the case. It just changes what it is.
And it's massive because it is really easy for, like, people to get into because it's like, oh, I'm partying, I'm having a good time, and that's what people want to hear.
The biggest
really.
kick in the teeth with things like Drake and that is that it's so unmusical. Like, the thing is, singing is just like, someone said it in the last Q&A, mumble rap.
Mumble rap, yeah.
That's essentially what it is. It's just someone just kind of flopping about in a studio.
Over, like, a shit beat, and it's like...
yeah.
It's not good.
I would say that Drake is somewhat original because I don't think anyone else has done that kind of sound, but I don't think that's a good thing.
No. Do you have anything to say for a person who is about to take GCSE music? Well, you actually took GCSE music.
I did take GCSE music. If you want good grades, don't necessarily write something that you like. Write something that fits the criteria. You won't enjoy it as much, sadly, and you won't make songs that necessarily that you like as much. But if you want a good grade, look at what the criteria is and just put that stuff into a song, because you will get better grades than actually just being like, well, I like punk music, so I'm going to make it a bit punky. If you will lose marks for that, don't.
We're getting a lot of, like, band recommendations here.
Cool, thank you. Sadly, this
Greta Van Fleet, sorry.
This comment section gets deleted when this live stream stops, so I have no way of keeping all of this
Not
stuff.
if you print screen it.
Yeah, but then I have to paste it into Paint or whatever.
Just paste it into my Facebook.
Our the power is currently very, very low. We will do one more question, and I will let Joe choose that question.
Fucking annoys me that people like stuff like Drake and that to fit in. Half of them don't like it. Yes, that is true.
I said pick a question.
I don't know how many more questions. I think we have answered all the questions. We just have a few artist recommendations.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone, for... I'm actually getting the warning of your PC's running low. If this just stops and we're mid-sentence, it's because I've run out of battery. Right. I guess we'll start wrapping this up by saying thank you, everyone who tuned in today. Sorry that all of this bar up here just doesn't work. Again, still new to this. Sorry if the quality's been a little bit shit. I guess that's it. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will have a proper video for you next week when we have slightly less things to do throughout the week. Right. Yeah. Bye.
See you later.
Gonna stop. Did I click?